Emmanuel here, and I have questions. The global chip war. What is it? What are its implications? What does it mean for people living in a place like Kenya? Well, to start off with, the chip war, as it has come to be known, is you could say a contest, right? An economic contest between countries that want to maintain an edge in the production of semiconductor chips and other derivatives, led by the United States. And their reasoning behind trying to maintain this edge and pursuing policies of restricting the trade and restricting access of even the tools, the manufacturing tools for these products, is that look, they want to get ahead of China. They want to maintain an edge against China and say nations that they think have policies that challenge, pose a challenge to them, both social, but mainly political and economic challenge. And they say, look, this is a very, very high tech good. We're going to restrict your access to it. Why? Look, semiconductor chips are the second most traded product in the world after oil. So, I mean, the significance is great, right? Semiconductor chips that are the foundation of the modern age, right? All of the advancements that we've made, that we ascribe to information communication technology, are all founded in the semiconductor chip. Now, during COVID, we saw, or rather, the market experienced what a semiconductor chip shortage means. When kids couldn't get their PlayStations on time or they couldn't find them in the store. So I believe it was 2020 Christmas when they just couldn't have their favorite gadgets delivered, because in some instances, like in the case of the PlayStation, if I remember correctly, or then the Xbox, they just weren't available, right? Now, what else was peculiar about the COVID-19 period? Well, people were indoors, people may engage in indoor activities, and some of these activities were gadget driven. So that meant more and more people were buying, say, your computers so you could engage in your remote work, and you could also engage in some digital play. And this meant that more and more people are buying devices, and these devices are powered, or rather, all their computing is the computing and all the information communications technology foundation, let's say the core, is actually driven by semiconductor chips, right? So you have a demand surge during a period that also during which China and the United States political and economic, say you could call them allies, are restricting the trade of this good. So there was a massive shortage. Now, in countries like Kenya, we are major importers of second-hand cars, and one of the uh, characteristics of this trade is that, look, you find that if you're importing cars that were manufactured to be and optimized for a Japanese market, so say vehicles that are very low, vehicles that have um, the, probably other aspects that even I don't know, but that are optimized for the Japanese market, and you're importing them to Kenya. What's one of the characteristics of the Kenyan market in terms of trying to operate a motor vehicle? Well, the roads are potholed, right? you have a lot of uneven surfaces that you're driving around. This is probably not the case in Japan. Now, the semiconductor chips, one of the most important semiconductor chip components, right, computers in the car, is located on the vehicle gearbox, right? And on that gearbox, which is a very, very big component of the car, right, located most usually, say, behind and below the center console, or if you're looking at it from the front end, from the bonnet of the car, it's somewhere around the center, deep down there. And the underside of this gearbox, you find the computer, right? A gearbox computer. And this gearbox computer actually faces the underside of the car, so it faces the road. Why would it face the road? Well, it faces the road because it is cooled. It can be cooled by vehicle movement. Because if you put it the other way and it's right next to the engine, it's an area of the car that gets really, really hot, and computers don't like heat. So this is my guess, right, from just observing, right, that now the computers that are on motor vehicles are optimized to perform at extreme in extreme conditions, but and even they have to be put on the underside of the car in order to remain cool, right? So now what happens in Kenya when you have a vehicle that's really low? The car tends to can strike the ground multiple times. If you strike this computer, you're looking at a malfunctioning gearbox, and and what when the gearbox malfunctions, well, because you don't, from my observation, you don't have experts who can address and adjust or change, or fix the computer itself. You've got to replace the whole gearbox, right? This is just one area where the semiconductor, where, say, the Kenyans will encounter the semiconductor market, right, in all its dynamics. Now, why do we have computer chips in vehicles in the first place? Well, this was most really started in the 70s, when during the global oil shortage, right? You had a period where global oil prices shot up, and efficiency came to the forefront of, fuel efficiency came to the forefront of motor vehicle operations. So this meant that more consumers wanted to prioritize, right? There was a demand in the market for efficient fuel efficiency. How might you achieve this fuel efficiency? Well, you could build better engines, but what you could also do is embed computers that optimize how the engine functions in such a way that you actually start saving more fuel. Probably now, talking about things like how the engine fires up. How this the whole you have a four-stroke engine, and the computer allows something. Now, this is the motor vehicle part that I'm not clearly not an expert, but suffice it to say that the whole mechanism is made more efficient by computer chips. So now, one of the questions would be, what did this chip shortage, what effect does chip shortage have on the Kenyan market? All the places, all the instances in which consumers encounter computer chips. What have been the effects of the global dynamics surrounding computer chip manufacturing and trade? What have the effects been on the local market? Manuel here, and I have questions.